To episode 113 of Driftless Knitting, my podcast all about knitting and yarn and other fiber arts. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can also find the podcast show notes at driftlessknitting.com, as well as my patterns. Most of my patterns are loaded up on driftlessknitting.com. All of them are on Ravelry as well, and I have them in several different places. So I still have all my patterns up on PayHip, a few of them on knitcircus.com, and most of them on driftlessknitting.com. So they're spread out a bit, but there are like duplicates. So you can, depending on what comes up first when you search for a certain pattern name that I mention, or if you search for my name, you can find my patterns. Speaking of my name, I did not mention that. My name is Jennifer, and thank you for joining me today. It is October 13th, and I do realize that the episode 113 is being filmed on the 13th, which is kind of cool. It is a Wednesday, and it is about just after 10 in the morning. So I am home today. I have the day off because I worked over the weekend for the Madtown Yarn Shop Hop, which is the shop hop that we at Knit Circus host every October. Last year it was a virtual event, but we've been doing it. I think this is at least the fourth year, if not the fifth year that we've done it. And it was wonderful. So any of you who are local who did participate in that, thank you so much for coming out and supporting us. We had a wonderful weekend, and it was just so good to see everybody. Most of the shops that I've heard of, I haven't heard back from everybody yet. We're all kind of, catching our breath and emailing back and forth about how it went. So hopefully it went well for all the shops. There were 14 total, including Knit Circus, that were participating this year. And yeah, it was just a really fun time. So I'm hopeful everybody found some good yarn, and yeah, just had a chance to drive around to some of these really cute towns outside the Madison area. Speaking of finding some yarn and having a good time, this upcoming weekend is Rhinebeck, and for any of you who are going to Rhinebeck, I hope you have a fabulous time, safe travels. I will not be there this year, but I'm really hoping to maybe get there next year. I wouldn't say they're even plans, it's like just the inkling of a possible plan to maybe get there next year. It would be fantastic. So those of you who are going, have a great time, and I can't wait to see photos. I'm gonna be a little jealous, a little sad that I'm not there, but we can't get to all of these events. I have been to Rhinebeck once, so I count myself lucky. I was there in 2015, and it was just a really, really great time. But it has been, that's 6 years ago. That was a long time ago, and yeah, it's just such a magical place. So have fun, everyone. So today I have a few things to show you. I have a couple projects I've been working on, and then there are a few acquisitions that I also picked up over the last few weeks. We have had a busy few weeks, and I'll also kind of catch you up on what I've been up to just in life as well. So let's get started. The first one I'll show you today. I've really been trying to be good. I don't think I've cast on anything new since I talked to you last, which is kind of amazing. I haven't had like a ton of knitting time, and I'm really just trying to crank out these couple projects that they don't have deadlines, but I'd really like to get them off the needle so I can move on to other things. I talked last time about how my knitting mojo or my knitting creativity felt a little stalled. I was kind of itching and just really wanting to use some of the yarn in my stash and cast on new projects and just knit with everything all at the same time. And I still feel like that. It might be a little bit why I haven't progressed as much as I could have on my projects. Also, we've had some crazy things going on this weekend, so I just haven't had as much time as I would like. But the first one that I will show you is the Flax Light sweater by Tin Can Knits. So this sweater is knit out of a fingering weight. It is the 1 to 2 year size, and I'm knitting this out of a yarn from one of my friends who used to dye yarn. She does not dye yarn anymore, but I have a bunch of her yarn in my stash, and it's, you know, really pretty. So I just decided to go with this somewhat fallish, somewhat, I don't know, to me it's very neutral, it's very gender neutral, but it is a little bit like, I think it's perfect for a little boy. So I have a 1-year-old son. He's actually about 13 months, but you know, after he reaches that 1 year mark, I don't know if we count months really anymore, but he is 13 months old. And I wanted to knit him another Flax Light because the one I had for him last year was just so nice to throw on. It's such a lightweight sweater, but still warm, but he's not gonna get overheated inside, which is really nice. So I am doing the garter stitch panels on the sleeves, and I'm just at the point now where I'm gonna decrease. I think I do a few decreases before the cuff. I can't remember how many, but yeah, I think it's only a couple. And then the cuff. I'm knitting these actually on a random pair of Carbons needles from Knitter's Pride. I had a size 5 Carbons in a 32 inch. I think that this was like a freebie set that I got at like a trade show or something. I can't remember why, or maybe I think it was back when they first came out. I used to work at a different yarn shop, and our rep was wanting us to try them out, I think. Or they got sent to us as like a here's a free pair, give them a go, see what you think. And for some reason I took them home. So it's a size 5 and it's a 32 inch, which is perfect for magic loop. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to tell you about that. I was using my, I was actually using Knitter's Pride, the red lace needles for the rest of the body. And it takes a size 5 for the body and a size 2 for the ribbing. So yeah, and I have a Progress Keeper from Lock and Lou on there, a little hand-painted mini round in a tree. I got this from her at Stitches Midwest a few years ago. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's going fine. I knit a lot of the sleeve. I started the sleeve on Saturday of this past Saturday when I was at Knit Circus for the shop hop. We had a little bit of downtime, and we all brought our knitting projects to kind of work on while we didn't have customers. And usually around like the lunch hour, there's usually a bit of a lull. So we had a little bit of time here and there and there was like 3 of us on staff, 2 or 3 of us on staff at a time. So you're not like having to run around like a crazy person. So you have a little bit of, you know, relaxation time, which is nice. Definitely not when the shop was really busy though. I mean, we were all, you know, we had like stamp cards for all the different shops to stamp, so everyone had to get their card stamped. We had a prize wheel that people could turn and win a door prize, which was super fun. And then of course people have questions about yarn and projects, and then someone had to stay at the checkout table. So when there were people in there, it was pretty crazy. But a few times, if someone was just looking and didn't need help, or we had, you know, a quiet moment, we were able to knit. So I did get a couple inches done. And then on Saturday night and Sunday, and maybe a little bit Monday, I was working on this as well. So I did a little bit of the sleeve. If I consistently work on this, I should be able to get it done definitely by the end of the month, even if my interest lapses a little bit again. I'm really hoping to just like crank it out. So I have this in really my only autumnal bag that I have. I really need to work on beefing up my autumn project bags because I go to this one every single time. I don't know if she's making bags. This is Twisted Threads. She sent this to me as part of a Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted package, I think, like 3-4 years ago. And yeah, I've knit. This is always the one that I put like my autumn socks in, or my autumn projects. And since I don't have a pair of socks going right now, I know, crazy, I've been dying to cast on a pair, but I know that knitting the sleeves kind of takes the place of knitting a pair of socks, and I really just want to get it done. So yeah, but yeah, I would really love to have more autumn themed bags. Sorry, I'm just checking the baby monitor because my son is sleeping right now, and just making sure that he has a little bit of a cold. He has some sniffles, and he's been waking up not sleeping like super soundly during naps and at night, so I'm not sure how long his nap will be today. So let's just crack on because you never know. So my next project, I also showed you on a previous episode, on the last one, but I have gotten quite a bit done on this. This is another one that took much longer than I anticipated, and I was talking to you a little bit about it last time, how I just wanted to get to the next color combination. Now I just want to cast this guy off. I've been enjoying it, but it's so much bigger than I expected it to be, and I'm gonna lose stitches. This is the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry, and I know that it's a big cowl. Let's see if I can show you. Oh, my print, I printed this off and it's like super grainy, so I don't think I can show you a very good picture, but in all of the photos she's wearing it. It's very, very, I don't want to say bulky, but it's quite large. It's going to be nice and warm. You knit it flat, as you can see. You kind of cast on, and then you increase, and then you decrease, and you seam it together so that it like points in the front, almost like a shawl. It looks like you're wearing a shawl, and then, but it's seamed in the back. I started this, or I'm knitting this with Knit Circus Yarns Driftless DK. These are not colorways that we have in stock, besides like the brown. The dark brown is probably very similar to the brown that we sell. But all of these colors were like prototypes that we were just testing out what the dye looked like on the yarn. So I started here with the pink and the yellow, and it's a little bit of a unconventional color pairing, but I really liked what the pink, yellow, and blue looked like together. And I do really like it. I kind of wish I would have chosen blue as color, what would it be, color B, because then it would have been in this panel, it would have been in this panel, and then it would have been the background here instead of the yellow. But I still like the yellow with the blue popping out. And then I actually ran out because I don't think I looked at yardage when I was planning this project out. I was just like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna use these 50-gram skeins of yarn, and no, you need 100 grams for each one, for each colorway. So I ran out, but we also had some other prototypes that Bug, my boss, she didn't even want to put on sale and sell because she didn't like them even as like sale yarn. So this is kind of a lighter blue, but it has a few splotches of like watered down purple. I think that's why she didn't want to even sell it for sale. It just had some weird like grayish purple splotches throughout it. But that's okay, I don't care. And then I did end up buying, with my first round, I bought this brown as well. This is like a rich chocolatey brown. And as you can tell, this yarn has like a very homespun look to it. It's a 2-ply, It is sourced locally, it's milled locally, and then we dye it. So it's kind of our Wisconsin yarn base. All of the colorways that we came up with for the Driftless line are based on Wisconsin like landmarks and well-known like parks, landmarks, natural thing, yeah. So that's kind of cool. We do dye those colorways on our other bases too. So if you're familiar with Knit Circus and you recognize some of the names from the Driftless collection, we ended up dyeing those on our other bases because they were just so beautiful. So, but yeah, this is a brown. This is also like a test skein. So I got this on sale and I really like the brown and blue together. And I don't mind that I'm not repeating the pink. Like this section that I'm starting actually was supposed to be, I think this section here was supposed to be blue in the background and yellow. And then starting here, I think I was supposed to switch to blue in the background and pink popping out, but I didn't have enough of the pink. And there's so much of the pink down here that I really don't mind switching it up. And then there's so much of the yellow that it's kind of cool to have like just one more color in there. So the blue and brown, I'm just gonna do the rest of it in blue and brown. And yeah, and from here you can't even tell the difference really between this blue in the background and this blue that I used. This one maybe looks a little lighter, but for the most part, I don't think you can tell the difference. So we're making it work. This is gonna be for me. I don't really care if it's perfect. I have yarn for another shift cowl that I'm gonna knit out of Utopia yarn Helix, which is very similarly made to the spin cycle. So they dye all the fiber, they spin it into two like strands, and then they ply it together. So it's dyed in the wool, it's not dyed on the skein. So that gives it that like barber pole look, which is what the spin cycle yarn has, and a lot of like hand spun yarn has that look too. So I am gonna do one where the colors sort of blend together and change and stuff, and aren't so like, big section of color, big section of color. But I really wanted to use this Driftless DK because I love how it feels. It's what is the blend? It's a blend of like Rambouillet and Targhee wool and alpaca. So it is just bouncy and wonderful. I have a shawl that I designed out of it called Harvest. That one is, I love wearing it. It's so warm, but it's so like cozy feeling. I don't know. It's not silky smooth, it's not gonna be like your high count merino or, I don't even know what else, cashmere, silk, whatever. Oh, I think it's raining. Yeah, it's definitely raining. We have the door open. There's such a nice cool breeze coming through. It's so wonderful to have fresh air coming into our apartment again. It's been, for those of you who don't live in the area, we had like 80-degree days within the last couple weeks, and it's just now, maybe the last 2 days, it's been chillier and feeling a little bit more like October. I cannot believe we had 80-degree days in October and the end of September. It's just crazy. But anyway, I'm loving that cowl, but again, I'm ready to move on. It was going so quick at the beginning, and isn't that the truth with any like shawl or cowl or project, that you're like starting out really small and it's growing and you're just like, I'm flying through this, I'm gonna get this done in no time, and then you're like, I have how many stitches on the needle now, and one row takes you, this isn't the case with this one, but one row takes you like 20 minutes to do. You're like, oh man. Yeah, but so those are my 2 whips. Hopefully the next time I talk to you, I can show you some FOs and some new whips. I'm super excited to get started on something new. Okay, so I do have some acquisitions to show you. Very excited about these. I went 2 weeks ago. Well, it's almost 3 weeks now. Yeah, we went to Winona, Minnesota, which is where I used to live. I went to school up there. I stayed there because it's just one of the most cute, picturesque, beautiful towns. Wonderful downtown. It's actually really growing in the last few years. Since I left there, there's so many new wonderful businesses, and the downtown is getting fixed up. There's a new like downtown apartment building with, you know, retail and eating restaurant at the bottom. Like, it's just, I think it's really cool. I'm not a fan of like I shouldn't say that. I'm not a fan of like building ugly buildings just to like fill up space, or like, I don't know. But it seems like all the people that are coming into the downtown are really being respectful, and they want to make this downtown just a tourist attraction in the best possible way. Day trippers coming down to do some shopping and eating and spend some time on the river, enjoying the farmer's market, getting a cup of coffee, walking around the beautiful university campus. I'm partial, but it's just lovely. And oh, I heard a baby. Let's see if he lays back down. He's not gonna lay back down. Okay, we're gonna have to finish this during afternoon nap. So I'll see you in a little bit. Hello again. I'm back. It is now 2 o'clock. Hudson is down for his afternoon nap, and we're ready to keep on plugging along. I've had another cup of coffee, several hours of playtime. We've watched one PBS show, had 2 meals, well, a snack and lunch. Whew, yeah, busy few hours. But anyway, I was talking about how I went up to Winona a couple weeks ago, and we actually went up for the Boats and Bluegrass Festival, which is a really fun annual event held in Winona along the river at one of the campgrounds. It's beautiful. It's so much fun. It's a very family-friendly environment. I posted a reel sort of recapping it on my Instagram account if you're interested in seeing just a few little clips from that weekend. But we had a great time. We saw a few friends. We were able to eat at a couple of our favorite places. Really, we just had like breakfast and I'm trying to think of where we ate lunch. No, I can't remember. We had apple pie at the fairgrounds. I can't remember where or if we got lunch there, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We ate at a couple of our favorite places and got coffee and walked around the farmer's market, listened to some great music out at the campgrounds, and stayed the night at a hotel and went home the next day. So I was able to, while I was there, stop into Yarnology, which is the yarn shop I used to work at, and still one of my favorite yarn shops to go to. And I picked up a couple things. So the first thing I grabbed was a skein of Squish DK from Spun Right Round. This is the On the Rocks colorway, and it is 100% superwash merino, 250 yards. So I was really just drawn to this because how autumnal it feels. I love obviously the orange base, and it's got some like darker orange throughout, but then it also has a little bit of blue. It's got this really fun dark maroon, and I thought it was just really, really pretty. So not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I'm thinking maybe a cowl. I'm all about the cowls right now, and I think this would make a really beautiful one to wear with my coat or just at work. Inside, if it's a little chilly, wrap it around my neck or put it around my neck. So yes, a skein of DK. And then I was really, really excited. This was one of my goals to see this yarn. Somebody from Winona, her name is, I'm pretty sure it's Kim Palmer. I knew her when I worked there. She moved away for a couple of years and then moved back to Winona, and then recently she's been dyeing yarn. So she has Palmer Yarn Co., and she does these really beautiful, mostly semi-solids as far as I can tell. And I had seen a few of her yarns on Instagram, both on Yarnology's Instagram and her own Instagram. And also one of my friends, Crystal Hyatt, she is a designer, also from Winona, and they teamed up together to do a like mini skein pack, and Crystal designed a cowl for that. So I actually pre-ordered one of those packs because they were completely out when I went. I actually have to go pick that up. We're going back to Winona in a little while, in a few weeks, and I'm excited to pick that up from the store. But I also got a couple of things that were already there. This is a beautiful sock set. This is called Orchard Sky, is the blue kind of speckly semi-solid, and Harvest is the mini. And I think this would make a beautiful pair of socks. I'm really excited about this. It's on an 80% merino, 20% nylon base, 400 yards, and the mini has 80 yards. It's 20 grams. So yeah, really excited about this. I love how subtle the speckles are, so it just gives you a little hint of something else, you know, that like bronzy color on there, but it's mostly a semi-solid. Super pretty. And then I also grabbed this set of minis. These are fingering weight minis. Her other set for the cowl are DK. I think I mentioned that, but this is just a set of 3. This is raspberry, so it looks a little more red on the screen. It really is like a deep pink, but not like hot pink. It's a really, really pretty raspberry pink. Harvest, which is the same colorway as the mini on my sock set, and Driftwood is this beautiful tan. Not sure what I'm gonna do with these, but I'm thinking the next time I go, she just sent a wholesale order to Knit Circus, so like a lot of, she was before just kind of doing minis and sock sets. Those were the only options at Yarnology when I was there. But I just saw a box was delivered to Yarnology, and it had a bunch of single skeins of various colorways. So I'm thinking I might either get another skein of this, because I do really want to make this into socks, like really badly. So I might get another skein of this if they have it available, or another colorway that coordinates with these, and do like a shawl. So have my main color, and then do like, I don't know, kind of transition in and out of the minis throughout it, maybe do some stripes or something. So I think that would be really, really pretty. And these are the same, this is the same 80-20 base. They're each 20 grams, and it's 80 yards per mini skein. So again, that's Palmer Yarn Co. Go check her out. So, so, so pretty. And I can't wait to see more of her stuff. Yarnology does have a website that you can order from. It's yarnologymn for Minnesota.com. And you can also order Palmer Yarn Co. yarn directly from Palmer Yarn Co. I think, I'm not sure what her website is, but you can go on Instagram and search for Palmer Yarn Co. And I think there's a link from there, or just like Google it or something. I'm sure it'll come up. But yeah, so that's the yarn that I got from not Knit Circus. I always say from Yarnology. I get those two like in my brain mixed up, even though it's been like 4 years since I worked in Winona. The next thing I'm going to show you are actually some cross stitch patterns that I got when we were in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, a week and a half ago. We were there, yeah, it was a week ago Saturday, and they had a fall festival that we went to. It was a bunch of booths, really cute stuff. I got some other like I got a mug. What else did I get? Some little like nose wipes for Hudson, like flannel nose wipes, reusable, and some other like cute little stuff like that. But there is also a cross stitch and embroidery shop in Mount Horeb called Witchery Stitchery. Yeah, I was gonna say Stitchery Witchery. I'm like, that's not right. Witchery Stitchery, and it's really cute. It's got loads of patterns, and I came away with a few. I could have stayed there all day, and I could have bought a lot more, but I barely have time to knit right now. So who knows when I'm gonna get back to cross stitching. But those of you who have watched for a while, you know that a little over a year ago, I really did get back into it for probably a couple of months. Finished a project I had going for like a couple of years, and then I started a new one, and I got decently, I mean, for me, I'm super slow, so I got a decent amount done on that. And then Hudson was born, and cross stitch is really hard to like pick up and put down. So I've only worked on it a handful of times since he was born last September. So yeah, someday I'll get back to it, and these will be waiting for me, and I'm so excited. I'll show you, let's see, I'll show you the two larger ones. I saw both of these like done. She had samples of them, and they're actually in the same like case and cabinet, and I loved them both so much. So this is by The Drawn Thread. It is called the Autumn Garden, and here we go, not getting a glare. It's beautiful stitched up, even more beautiful than it is in the photo. And it's got a bunch of names of different flowers and different things you associate with autumn along the bottom. And then otherwise just like beautiful farmhouse, beautiful flowers, some birds, really, really pretty. And it's a good size. It's probably a couple feet like across, and then yeah, about like this tall. So a good size. I think it would be beautiful to have in my home someday. This was also stitched up, and it was right next to it, and it kind of went along with the autumn theme. I'm thinking she probably switches out the one she has in like the main display case, because yeah, they were both autumn. And this says Rest and Be Thankful. It is from the Cricket collection, and it's called Rest and Be Thankful. I don't know if the pumpkin pie, oh it is, the pumpkin pie chart is on here too. So that's cool. Oh my gosh, just looking at the chart and all the symbols, and oh, it just makes me want to do this so badly. But I loved the farmhouse look again. That it's just totally my style, that sort of primitive look, and the autumnal. I mean, don't get me wrong, any sort of like nature-y looking piece with, yeah, a little bit of like a primitive feel, a little bit of a farmy feel. Yeah, I can't pass it up. So that's really pretty. And then I got, speaking of farmy feel, this one also I guess is kind of autumnal. This is from Little House Needleworks, which is probably one of my favorite design lines that I know of. I have watched some floss tube, and I've searched a lot of patterns. These are like the first real charts though I've bought. I've held off, even though I've been watching floss tube for the last like year and a half. I've held off buying any because I just don't have the time, and I didn't want to just get this huge stash and be super overwhelmed. So I did cave because I was there in person, and it's much harder to resist when you're there in person. But yeah, Little House Needleworks is probably one of my favorites. It's got a lot of those very simplistic, primitive looking charts. And yeah, this is one from them. So it goes along with that same feel. This is called the Old Red Barn, and it's kind of summery. It's got sunflowers and things like that, but it's also got the stack of pumpkins, some birds flying, just a really cute piece. So yeah, that one would be super fun. That one might be the first one I do out of this stack because it is a little bit smaller and it seems a little simpler than the other two. And then the last one I got, I got some information about cross-stitch stockings because my Oma, those of you who have watched, you've seen our hand cross-stitch stockings that my Oma, my grandmother, makes. And she lost or gave away one of the books she had with all these beautiful cross-stitch patterns, and she had done most of them in the book, I think. So maybe that's why she thought she could give it away. I don't know. Something happened to it, and she's been curious about where to find, like she hasn't been able to find good like cross-stitch stocking patterns in the style that she likes. We're not really, she does these like beautiful scenes, like pictures. They're so gorgeous. There's a lot of stockings out there that just have like a teddy bear, a Christmas tree, things like that. But she, I mean, there's one that's like this music room and it has all these gorgeous instruments, and you even use like golden sparkly thread to make the strings on like the cello and the violin. My phone is going to die fairly shortly, but that's okay. We don't have much more to talk about. And they're just incredible. They're pieces of art. So she was looking for these patterns again, but couldn't remember who designed them, what they were called. And I was talking to the lady about it. She knew exactly what I was talking about. She pulled them up. I'm like, yes, like she's done that one and that one and that one. It was so exciting. So she gave me like the information about it, and I can go on there. I can show my Oma. I don't know how many more my Oma is gonna make. She is getting older. She's like 87. She is still very vibrant and healthy and energetic, and she quilts and cross stitch and knits and does all the things, which is incredible. But again, I'm not sure like how many more she's gonna wanna make. She did one for Seaver. Hudson got his last year. My cousin's husband got his. They were married the same year we were, 2018. So Seaver and Dustin both got their stockings, and Hudson is the latest great-grandchild, so he got his. There will probably be a couple more great-grandchildren, not just for me. We're maybe planning on having maybe one more in years from now. Not yet. And my cousin Eric and Dustin, they might have kids. I'm not sure, but so there might be a couple more family members joining. But again, I'm not sure if she's gonna want to cross stitch anymore. So I always say, like, when the time comes, maybe I'll take that over. But I need to have more time to do it and a little bit more experience. So we'll see. We'll see. I think I'm really the only great-grandchild who's interested, although my cousin Eric's husband, Dustin, has been getting into cross-stitch and crochet and knitting now too. So that's really exciting. So maybe he and I will split the job of making stockings. Who knows? But anyway, that information was in this package, which is why I just went on that tangent. But this is the last one I got. It's from the Scarlet House, and it's called Christmas in the Village. And it's super cute. The picture is really dark, which is kind of disappointing. I'm finding that the photographs on here don't always do them justice. But it's okay. That's why you go to these shops and you see them in person, and you know, you fall in love with them, because all of these are they're beautiful in the photographs, but they're incredible in person. So yeah, again, sort of a Christmassy, I'm a sucker for Christmas as much as I am for fall time. And it's got like a barn and a couple houses and a church. I guess one house and a church and a barn. really cute. So this one isn't too big either, but the Old Red Barn one I think is the smallest out of all of them. I got to check the dimensions on this one. But again, this one's not too complicated. There's not a lot going on. So those two might be good to do first. So yeah, really exciting. Hopefully I can get back to cross stitch soon. The last thing I'm gonna show is a few things I got from Laura of Pointel Designs. I'm gonna have all the information on the things I talk about in the show notes, but she is a maker out of Madison, and we had the Madtown Yarn Shop Hop this past weekend, and she had a pop-up shop in our store. So she was selling project bags, little handmade accessories, little handmade ornaments, like really cute stuff. And I picked up a few things. So the first thing I'll show you is actually what I'm wearing. You can see my knot is a little off center, but she makes these gorgeous cloth headbands. They have a little twist where the two sections are threaded together, and then they're attached to elastic in the back. And I got this one and another one for myself, and then I actually got a couple for my sister, and hopefully she doesn't watch this, but she's super busy, so I'm not sure that she will. But yeah, she loves wearing headbands like this. I do too. This one is super comfortable. It's not giving me any kind of a headache. It's not slipping very much, which is kind of incredible. Usually headbands like slip off my head all the time, and this one's not doing that. So this is the second time I've worn one of her headbands. I wore one, the other one I got on Sunday, and wore that like all day, and it's super comfortable too. The next thing I got were some project bags. So this one, how beautiful is that? Really pretty inside lining. This is like a canvas material. I think it's a Rifle Paper Company fabric design, and I actually got this as a future Christmas gift for one of my friends, one of my knitting friends. So I love that. And then I got, she pulled out these, and I was like, add it to my pile. This is a little quilted bag, and it's got this just so cute Christmas fabric. I love it. So the canvas one, that's really heavy duty. This one is like quilted and lined, so it also feels pretty heavy duty compared to my next one that I got, which is just a little notions pouch. It could have a small project in there actually. I could probably fit like a sock in here. And this one is just like a cotton, so it's not lined, it's not quilted, it's just a cotton bag. So super cute sheep, and really cute Christmas bag. I'm trying to think of what could fit in here too. I mean, definitely a sock. A sock could fit in there too. But yeah, I love that. And then I got another, so I have a couple of these. I actually wore one on Saturday when I was working at the shop, but these are little hair ties that have a bow, so you can just like, it makes your hair look super cute if you're into this. I mean, some people aren't, but it just adds a little bit of something to your ponytail or your braid or whatever. So kind of jazzes it up a little bit. But yeah, so that's about it. Actually, this is the same material I just noticed as my headband, so I like completely coordinate. How great is that? So thank you so much for watching. That's pretty much all I have for you today. And I kind of already updated you on some life stuff. We had the shop hop last weekend, which was really crazy but really fun. I am one of the primary coordinators of that, so it was just really gratifying to see people come out and enjoy themselves and pick up some great yarn, and then hear from the other shops that they had a great weekend too. It makes it all worth it. And we went to Winona a couple weeks ago, not last weekend, the weekend before, time is flying by, we went to the fall festival at Mount Horeb, and actually the last 2 weeks, so not this week, but the week before that, Seaver, my husband, was actually in Houston, Texas. He was traveling for work, and so I had a lot of visitors come up and stay, which was great. My mom came up one night, my sister came up one night and spent a little bit of time with us. And then one of my best friends came up from Chicago and stayed a couple nights with us. So we only really had a few days where it was just Hudson and I. And he's such a good kid. He's such a good little baby that it wasn't too hard, you know. It's nice when you have a co-parent, for sure. Being able to just not be the one that is always getting up with Hudson in the morning and always putting him down and always getting his food and always dropping him off at daycare. Like, I mean, Seaver's work is a little bit busier than mine, so I do a lot of that anyway, but just having the option, or having one time, you know, Seaver gets up in the morning with him and I get to sleep for another half hour or something like that, it's so nice. Or, you know, he's crying and Seaver can jump in and, you know, give him a little bit more food. It's not just always on me. It's really nice to have that, and you don't always notice it or realize it until you don't have that co-parent with you at the time. So, you know, we're just, and then Seaver was super lonely being in Texas by himself, and he didn't know anyone at his training. He was training for a new job. And yeah, so he was really, oh, that's his phone, sorry. He was really excited to be back and be back with, you know, his family, which is understandable. And then I was excited to have him back, of course, but then also, you know, helping out a little bit. It's great to have a little help. So, but yeah, otherwise today, the rest of the day, I think we're gonna go on a walk a little bit later. When Seaver is done with his stuff, we're gonna go for a walk. It's been a little chilly and rainy, but I think the rain's gonna hold off and we can just dress warm. And yeah, I will try to get this uploaded and edited and hopefully out for you guys fairly shortly so you can see it. I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for coming back. If you're a returning viewer, I really appreciate it. And if you are a new viewer, please like and subscribe, like you do, if you so choose. No one's forcing you here. If you just watch the video and you're not really interested in any more of my making, totally fine. But hopefully you can do that. I will hopefully be back in a few weeks and show off all the things that I get done in the meantime. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time making and creating, and yeah, just doing things that you love to do. So I will talk to you all very soon. Until then, do things that make your heart happy, be kind to one another, and I will see you later. Bye.